So it's been just under a month, and I've had the Tab S8 Ultra here in the lab for testing, man, and I am super happy to finally be bringing you guys kind of like my first video on like just covering it, period. So when it comes to the Tab S8 Ultra, I gotta kind of approach this one a little bit differently. I gotta approach it as someone who's predominantly used iPads in the past. My last Android tablet was a Nexus 7, so definitely dating myself out there a bit. So there's a few key features that I can already tell you right off the bat. Definitely kind of make me scratch my head from a perspective of I don't know what Apple's doing with the iPad, and that's what we're gonna cover today. So like I said, it's not gonna be a Tab S8 Ultra love fest or making it seem like the iPad Pro is absolute trash or anything like that. Both are great products in their own right with strengths and weaknesses, but there are definitely a few things that I would love for Apple to steal. We're gonna go ahead and cover them now, but before we do, go ahead and roll that intro. All right, guys, so I had to bring in the Tab S8 Ultra to just go over a few things, man. I'm gonna break this down really into like two sections. We're gonna talk hardware and then we're gonna talk software, right? Just things that I noticed on this Tab S8 Ultra that I really want Apple to copy. So getting it started, going right into hardware, has to be the camera placement. So it's kind of hard to see him. I got a black background here. You might see some flicker as well. That's just my camera. The tablet doesn't do that in person at all. But anyway, the camera placement. So on the iPad lineup, all of the cameras are here on the left side. Now, some people might be asking, well, why is that a big deal? As long as the cameras are there and they're good quality, you should be good to go, right? No, you're wrong. So the reason why you're wrong, I know, subjective, but anyway, I'm just being a smart ass. But anyway, so the reason why you're wrong is the fact that when you're on a video call, your natural instinct, unless you're, training yourself not to do it this way, your natural instinct is to look at the camera. Anytime that anyone's ever taken a picture of anyone, they always say one thing: smile, look at the camera. You see what I'm saying? So we're kind of trained to naturally look at the camera. Here on the Tab S8 Ultra, you'll see that the actual camera setup is literally perfect right here in the middle, right? So when you're on your Zoom calls, your Teams video calls, or you're on like your Duo calls or whatever, you're naturally gonna look here, center mass, which just looks more immersive. It makes the person feel like you're looking at them, which is the whole point of doing a video call. If you're not going to be immersive with the person, then you might as well just call them regularly, right? So with the cameras being over here on the iPad lineup, you're looking off to the left side of your tablet instead of the center, right? So that's kind of one thing right there, right? So also, just while we're on the topic, words are hard. While we're on the topic of cameras, I do know, it is a notch here. A lot of people are like, no, I hate the notch, whatever. I understand that they're thinking, but the cameras on this device are so good. I'll see if I can snap some samples for you guys and show you guys some samples. You can also check out one of the channels that I watch, which is Tech Tablets. He did a fantastic review on this tablet, and he showed some actual video and photo samples of the tablet. And let me tell you guys, these front-facing cameras are the best that I've seen on any tablet, period. Any iPad or any other tablet that I've ever used or seen camera samples for. These front-facing cameras these front-facing sensors are phenomenal. Also, they do have kind of like the whole center stage feature that Apple has. It's honestly just not as responsive and not as fluid, but they do have that. So just something, like I said, to kind of take note of. Apple, move your cameras from the left side to the middle, just please. Most people are using their tablets in this horizontal orientation. I'm not really seeing people using it, in this type of orientation. Hey guys, in this orientation where it's portrait. I'm honestly just not seeing that. Even the multitasking experience on the iPad when you hold it portrait like that, it isn't good, because you can't go top and bottom. You can only go side to side. So it ends up stretching your apps in these super narrow windows. So Apple, more people are using their tablets in this orientation. Next time you guys redesign the iPad, please just make sure that you put the cameras in the middle, right? So that's kind of like my only issue in terms of the hardware. So let's go ahead and switch over to software, and we're gonna kick it off right here with this tool right here, man, the S Pen. So in terms of the S Pen, starting it off, man, the Apple Pencil, and like I said, it's definitely a great tool. It's definitely a great tool, especially if you're an artist or a creator or something like that, right? But that's kind of where the functionality of the Apple Pencil ends. It's more so geared towards if you are some type of like creator or artist or something of that nature. There's not a whole lot of functionality that's just there just to be there. Right? Take the S Pen, for example. If I go ahead and hit this button here on my S Pen, you can see all of these different actions and all of these different things that I can do. Right here, I can create a note, which Apple has something similar to that. I can go right into my Notes app. You have a thing here called Smart Select. So I can honestly come here. Let's say I want to take a screenshot of just this widget. I can come here, click, and you can see you have pinpoint precision when it comes to taking your screenshots. Features like that, man, in my opinion, make the S Pen so much more powerful from a functionality standpoint. Okay, I'm done taking things, Samsung, thank you. You also got Screen Write, where you go ahead and you tap, takes a screenshot, and then you can instantly just start writing over your screenshot, whatever the case may be. Dope feature right there as well. And one of the things that I absolutely love about the S Pen that I know not a lot of people talk about, because I honestly don't think a lot of people know, right? If you go into your banking apps, which I'm not going to go into any of my banking apps, I don't need y'all to know what my stash looks like. You might try to come find me. I'm just playing. I'm not balling like that. But anyway, so if you go into your banking app, most banking apps will not allow you to take screenshots inside your banking app. Now, I know a lot of people are already saying right off the bat, well, why is that a big deal? I don't need to take screenshots. And I get that perspective, right? Whatever, it's super niche. But let's say, for example, you're trying to say pay a credit card, where you can't just punch in your debit card number. You have to put in the actual account number and routing information. Well, if I'm on my iPad or I'm on my iPhone, I have to switch back and forth between those apps. Guess what? The S Pen completely overrides that. If you go into any page with text or anything like that, and you hold the S Pen over the screen, it gives you kind of like the little letter cursor, and you can override that and copy and paste in any application. For the longest times, my job, they locked down our Microsoft Teams app, where we couldn't copy and paste anything out or anything in. Well, I had the S Pen on my Note 10 Plus at the time, and I was able to override that. So it's like you even have little hidden goodies with the S Pen. Things like being able to, let me see if I can do it, bring up the camera. Things like even, I'm kind of killing y'all, but y'all can see the light in the camera. But like even things like taking pictures and stuff like that as like a shutter button, being able to switch modes and all of that stuff, man. Like flip the camera around and all of that. Like this type of stuff, in my opinion, just makes the S Pen a far more functional tool than the Apple Pencil is on any day of the week, right? Moving over to the next software tidbit, stick that up there, has to be the multitasking experience, right? And I'm not gonna harp on this too long. Now, the iPad does have split view, and then it has slide over. So you can technically be doing 3 things at a time. But let's say here with the Tab S8 Ultra, I'll just kind of bring up 3 random apps. I honestly would never use these 3 apps together, but I'm just trying to make a point, right? So I can literally run 3 apps at a time no matter what. So I could be checking out the homie Easy's video. Let me turn that down. All right, so I can literally be checking out the homie Easy's video, scrolling through, seeing what else is there. You got your comment section here. Shout out to the homie Easy, always throwing out the dope content. And then you got your Twitter feed right here. And it's not a situation where these windows are so small that this isn't usable. This is easily viewable and easily usable, right? Then you got your Reddit feed right up here. You see what I'm saying? Actually multitasking, doing 3 things at once. And then if you want to take it to the next level and get even crazier, I can even come in here and let's say I'll throw my other Twitter app, and have floating windows. Apple has the quick note feature where you can kind of bring up just a notepad, but they don't have anything like this where you can actually do floating windows, minimize that. What if I'm, checking out a brand new product over here on YouTube? I could have Amazon pulled up here, have my Twitter feed here, and then I could bring a calculator, or as you can see, any application. I got banking apps here, a file manager, YouTube Studio, Microsoft Teams, anything. So it's not even just like these little functional tools like the calculator. I could bring up any app and do this, man. Floating windows. This is something that the iPad should have been had, in my opinion. Should have been had. So like I said, this is just one instance, right? Where Samsung just takes the leap in terms of being overall just far more productive than what the iPad is doing, right? It's not to say that the iPad is a bad device. It's just when you look at all that you can do on this tablet, there's no competition in terms of productivity. There just isn't, in my opinion, right? Also, another thing with this app, it's called Super Display. It's a $10 app, so definitely steep, but you can even connect your Tab S8 or Tab S7, whatever, to your Windows PC, connect via Wi-Fi or via USB-C cable, and you can run your Android tablet as a external monitor. Now, we have, second screen with Samsung and sidecar with the Mac and the iPad, but you can run Super Display at this screen's full refresh rate. So I can run this screen, have it kind of all spaced out in like a 4K view for the external monitor, and run that external monitor at 120 hertz. That, in my opinion, is just so much more powerful, gives you so much more customization and so many more options as far as you tailoring the experience exactly to how you want it. I don't even need to talk about the actual the actual file app, because this, in my opinion, just kills anything that the iPad has currently, right? So just like I said, guys, that has to be another thing with software. So I'm gonna go ahead and round this out with just one last thing, man, and you already knew it was coming. You already knew it was coming. Now, this isn't gonna be like a full walkthrough of DeX. There's just way too much here to talk about it, right? But I just want to talk about the experience as a whole. Now, I'm not one of those users who are asking for Apple to do a Mac OS Lite or anything like that for the iPad. I'm not asking for that, right? But just give us some type of experience that gets users more accustomed to what the Mac offers, right? People tend to go back to whatever is familiar to them. So if you open this up, this reminds you of Windows. Like, it literally reminds you of Windows 11 with the middle taskbar, the start button here with all your applications. Like, this literally reminds you of Windows. So if you hand this to somebody and they get used to using this and they're like, okay, I need a more powerful laptop or a more powerful desktop, well, they're gonna go with what they're familiar with. This looks like Windows. Go ahead and give me that Windows laptop or that Windows desktop, sir, because it just looks more familiar to them. They can actually get things done. When you look at iPad OS and you use iPad OS, it functions completely different than Mac OS does. Now, there's some things that are similar and some things that does look the same, but for the most part, you're using two completely different experiences, right? And it's like you can even plug, say, this interface here, so plug my Tab S8 Ultra into my external monitor, and DeX actually actually gives you external display support. And I mean true external display support. The iPad just lets you mirror whatever on your iPad. Like, these are just things that, in my opinion, people don't talk enough about. Like I said, I'm not asking Apple to just kind of, copy the whole experience of DeX or whatever the case may be. Like, I'm not asking them to do that, but I am asking them to just bolster the experience of the iPad and just make it do a bit more, right? So those were some things that, like I said, I'm noticing with the Tab S8 Ultra. This is a fantastic tablet experience. Like, if I was to say what I would want a tablet experience to be for a productivity powerhouse power user, this is the tablet that I would tell them to go in the store and take a look at, right? And that's just me being honest. Some people are gonna say, oh, the application support. In all honesty, when I put this thing into DeX mode, I don't have to worry about aspect ratios. I don't have to worry about window size. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff because I can resize all of those windows to my heart's desire. So I get it, application support, cool. But when I can literally change the entire user experience to what I want to and resize those windows just like I could on a Mac OS system and a Windows system. I mean, you honestly can't beat that, right? So like I said, in my opinion, from a productivity standpoint, this is the absolute best tablet on the market and the best tablet that you can buy. And I'm gonna be honest, this is way more tablet than I'll ever need, right? It's way more tablet than I'll ever need, but it is an extremely enjoyable experience to be able to use this huge canvas and have all of this power and productivity, man. So definitely a fan of the Tab S8 Ultra, man. If you're interested in it, I say head to your local Best Buy, go check it out, because it is a really big device. But go check it out, man. Whatever you end up picking up, whether it's this or a Tab S7 Plus or whatever, you are going to love the experience if you're the type of user who wants to do more with their device. So that's the Tab S8 Ultra, guys. So that was the Tab S8 Ultra. Just a few things that I really would like for Apple to kind of steal per se, or just copy to make the iPad overall a greater experience. But I want to know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Do you believe that I'm off base? Do you think that there's some things that Samsung's doing that Apple should do? Do you think it's the other way around, where Samsung maybe needs to copy some things from Apple? Either way, let me know down in the comment section below. As always, this is Ike's Tech Talk. I will catch you all in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Peace.